Welcome to another interview in our FM Expert series. I'm joined by Linda Hausmanis. Linda, how are you? Thank you for joining us.
Great to see you, Beth. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, no, thank you for your time. Linda, for those of you who don't know her, is the CEO at the Institute of Workplace and Facilities Management, or IWFM. And Linda is going to share with us, I think, just some of your thoughts, Linda, around how we can kind of find our purpose, how we can seek to be the best version of ourselves. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm going to hand over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Beth. As I say, I'm not coming at this from a, I'm not an FM expert. My background is not FM, but my background was professional body, financial services, etc. And I think what has driven me over the years, I had a very sort of humble upbringing and very humble sort of beginnings, etc. But I suppose I've just been inspired by people to, try and be the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
And I just think in this day and age with so much social media, and I know it's there for the good, but mainstream, I think it is there is quite damning. I think it's, I look at, especially particularly young people, about, the way people make unkind comments.
Yeah.
And I think we've just lost the ability actually to be kind to each other.
Yeah.
And I remember years ago when I was doing lots of sort of personal development myself, and I think the one thing that stuck with me and stuck with me ever since was you have to surround yourself by people who fall into two camps.
Okay.
One of those who inspire you, those who they've got your back. They can see in every single human being there's a golden nugget, and unfortunately life just covers it up with soot and dirt and horribleness and what have you. Yeah. And to me, if you are a true friend, if you are a true friend, you'll help uncover that. You'll help peel away some of the hurt and the wrongdoing that happened to us, as soon as we arrive, on the planet, really. And the other group is those who you aspire to be like. And I remember when I was, going through this particular program, and it really made me sort of think about the people who I had surrounded myself with. Oh, don't get me wrong, I had great friends. I had many friends, etc. But all of a sudden, pretty, quickly and pretty overnight, it was a case of really, who do I want to surround myself with? Yeah. And sometimes if you're in a working environment, you don't get to choose who you surround yourself with. You're in a team, you're part of an organization or a part of a function, etc. And, you have to sort of cope as best as you can. But, that's why I go back onto, you have to find your purpose. My purpose in life is to serve, is to sort of help people be a better version of themselves. Yeah. And obviously there's no surprise then that I end up doing the role that I did at the Institute before I was asked to be the CEO. But still every day, that's what, that's why my feet touch the sort of carpet every morning. And I know somewhere in the world, everything, we do as an institute is helping people be a better version of themselves. Yeah. But, we have got to reintroduce grace and kindness into our everyday language and stop demeaning people.
Yeah, and you talked about your own personal development. What are some of the things that you've done and tried? Because we all try things, don't we? And think, oh, that worked, that didn't. Are there any things that you've tried that you found really useful and really valuable?
Yes, well, I've a great component of Open University.
Okay.
So obviously I've studied with them. And also I think we've been very lucky with things, programs such as Coursera or Future Learn. And that's about, I think one of the best programs I have ever been on was called Learning to Learn. Okay. Because I think this is the other thing that everybody has to have this, Beth, regardless of where you are in life. You have got to have a learning mentality. Yeah. I know people who did MBAs and doctorates years ago. Yeah. And what did you do last week? And what did you do last year? And what did you do last month, etc. And what have you got planned? Because we cannot stop learning. Yeah. Life is going on at such a pace at the moment. But that was the best program I ever did, and it is there freely available to everybody. It's called Learning How to Learn, and with a great professor, Barbara Oakley, and she had, you know, not a troubled start, but a challenged start. You know, she wasn't a great straight A student, etc., and she didn't find her groove until she was in her 20s, and she sort of became an engineer.
Yeah.
And but she has really unravelled this brain, how our brain works. You know, the neuroscience, how our brain works, how lazy we all are, and use that sort of front part of the brain just, you know, and get those easy responses. We've lost the ability, I think, for deep thinking and deep learning, and that slow thinking as well. So that is one I would recommend to anybody and everybody. You know,
that's called Learning How to Learn, and it's something that's freely available, is it?
That is freely available.
Okay, well, I'll find that and put a link. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, and if I sort of find it, Beth, I'll sort of send it through to you, so you make sure that, you know, you've got the one that I'm talking about. And I say that to young people who are going through sort of GCSEs, because a lot of them say, well, we've not been taught this. We've not been taught how to learn.
Yeah.
And so, and certainly, obviously, when, you know, in my sort of role at IWFM, or previously BIFM, you know, anybody sort of started embarking on studying, especially when all of a sudden you're 40, you're 50 years of age, and all of a sudden these programs are now available to you, and they go, great, but I haven't done anything for a long time. I hear that
all the time. Yeah.
And also, I think it's so sad when people say, oh, well, it's not for me. Who said? And it might be something that was said by a teacher or their parent, and say, when I go back, Beth, about surrounding yourself by people who inspire you or aspire you, because sometimes even your own family don't support you to nurture and to grow, etc., because sometimes, you know, they have been part of the problem. You know, and if you haven't got the friends or the colleagues around you, all of a sudden your life goes from being a lovely swimming pool, which is free, and you can swim up and down the sort of lanes, etc., without any obstacles, and all of a sudden obstacles are sort of thrown in your way, and you have to navigate your way around, and all of a sudden the pool that you're swimming in is getting smaller and dirtier and muckier, and you diminish your life so much. So it's so important that everybody actually sort of digs deep within themselves, find out their purpose, be kind to themselves, and basically strip themselves of anybody who's not being kind to them.
And I think learning is such an individual thing. You know, what pushes your buttons may turn my buttons off. That's a stupid way of saying it. You know what I mean? So I might like listening to podcasts or watching videos like this, or reading a book. You might want to be in a room full of other people discussing things. We are all completely different, and I think what all of us have got to do is understand that we need to keep on growing, because our brains need that, don't they? They need to kind of be nourished.
Yeah.
But we don't have to do it in one formulated way. You know, we can all find different ways of doing it, and I think free stuff is so much what we should be also supporting, because not everyone has the budget for going on training courses or for doing qualifications. You're Learning How to Learn, I think, is really useful. You talked about the Open University, but they also have I think it's called, is it called Open Learn? They have free.
It's free, lots of free stuff,
yeah, lots of free stuff. And the thing about surrounding yourself with people, I went on as it was then, BIFM went to an event. I think the London region had put it on. I can't remember who had done it. And the lady, Bethany, I can't remember her surname, talked about, are you a radiator or are you a vacuum? And she said, you need to know which one you are, but you also need to know who you're surrounding yourself with, because they're either kind of giving in terms of their energy, or they're sucking it, you know. And actually, it's really good to reflect on that, because sometimes you realize you're spending time with the wrong people.
Yeah, well, and this, I call them mood hoovers, you know, similar thing. And also, because at the end of the day, you know, is life on a sort of flat plateau? No, it isn't. You know, so you wake up one day and you're in the groove, you're in the flow, and it's all going well. Other days it's like, oh, you know, this is not working, come on. And therefore you can have a bit of a dip. But we all know those individuals that, you know, we've either worked with, or sometimes within your own family, where you think, oh, you know, sometimes I say, you know, is your glass half empty, is it half full? I'm thinking, I know some people who haven't even got a glass, regardless of whether it's got any liquid in it or not. You know, and and I feel desperately, sorry for those people. I'm just thinking, I would love to do anything to help them, but sometimes I think you've got to learn to help yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Linda, I think you've given us some really useful sort of, as you referred to the term, nuggets, of information, of food for thought. And I think this series of interviews is all about that. It's about taking little bits from each of them. And I think you've given us some fantastic stuff. So we'll find the link if you send that to me, and everyone, I'll put that into the comments. And Linda, I know how busy you are. So for now, I'm going to say thank you very much. Thanks for sparing your time. Thank you.
Beth, thank you for your time. Good to speak to you. Bye.
Bye.